Okay, let me ask you this. Feeling like you're pedaling furiously, but the scenery's just not changing. Like that nagging voice of self-doubt is your constant co-pilot, no matter how many, self-help books you devour. Well, welcome to this deep dive. We've created this specifically for you. Forget the surface level pep talks today. We're going deep, like really, really deep into how you can fundamentally upgrade your internal software for, turbocharged success in this wild ride that is 2025. Our compass for this whole expedition is Judith Humphrey's insightful work, Speaking as a Leader. Now, hold on, you might be thinking, leadership communication for me. But yes, absolutely. We're actually taking a bit of a contrarian approach here. We're using these powerful leadership principles to help you become the CEO of your own mind. So our mission, ditch the generic fluff, arm you with genuinely practical step-by-step strategies to essentially rewire your brain for the breakthroughs you're craving. Get ready for some aha moments.
It's a fascinating angle, isn't it? Taking these strategies we usually aim outwards, trying to influence other people.
Yeah.
And actually turning them inwards.
It's exactly.
Think about it. We spend so much time crafting presentations, choosing the right words for impact. But how often do we give that same care to our internal dialogue?
So true. Okay, let's dive straight into our first key insight then. Vision. It isn't some abstract daydream, it's more like your brain's built-in GPS guiding your every move. Judith Humphrey put it perfectly. Leaders need a mission that guides them. Begin with vision. Forget those dusty strategic plans gathering digital dust somewhere. What does this actually look like for you, right here, right now?
Well, in the reality of 2025, with everything moving so fast, a clear internal vision isn't just like a nice to have. It's really essential for survival almost. You've got sophisticated AI, the creator landscape is constantly shifting, you're just bombarded with information, opportunities. Without that strong internal North Star, you just risk getting overwhelmed, scattered. Your brain needs that focus, that direction to filter out the noise and really laser in on actions that genuinely move you forward.
So it's a filter.
Exactly. And this kind of exercise, it actually taps into the brain's neuroplasticity. Its amazing ability to form new connections through repeated mental rehearsal. By vividly imagining this future self, you're essentially laying down the first tracks, the initial pathways for that reality.
Right, you're pre-paving the road. So how do we actually build this internal North Star? We're calling it the future memory protocol. Think of it like actively installing future software in your brain.
Okay.
Every morning, just dedicate 5 minutes. Seriously, that's it. First step, define your 2025 leader identity. Who was the most powerful, goal-achieving version of you? Get specific, like maybe, I am a resilient innovator who confidently brings impactful ideas to life. Something like that.
Got it. Specificity is key.
Then picture one specific scene from that future where you are absolutely nailing it, really embodying that identity. What do you see? What sounds are around you? And crucially, what do you feel? Make it visceral, like it's happening right now.
Sensory details. Engage everything.
Yes. And finally, this is vital. Identify one tiny action, just one, that you will take today that directly nudges you towards that future memory. This isn't just daydreaming, it's actively wiring your brain, building those future memories, one neural pathway at a time.
It's really about the power of belief in action, isn't it? I mean, think about someone like Elon Musk. Whatever you think of him personally, his vision for Tesla, for SpaceX, it wasn't just a business plan on paper.
Yeah.
It felt like a deeply held, almost tangible future reality for him. And that's what fueled the relentless action, the innovation in the present.
Yeah, that drive.
That's the kind of magnetic force a really compelling internal vision can have. What strikes you about that kind of intense focus?
That unwavering commitment, I think. Okay, moving to our second key. This one might surprise you. Believe it or not, your brain gets super comfy with your old stories. Even the ones that make you cringe, the limiting ones.
Familiarity.
Exactly. So it's time for an intervention. You got to starve those outdated narratives. Humphrey talks about needing to move from information to inspiration and to speak with conviction. Now let's apply that internally. Tune into your own internal radio station. What limiting beliefs are playing on repeat in your head?
And it's interesting how resistant the brain can be to change, even positive change. That familiarity, even if it's a negative thought pattern, can feel weirdly safe.
Yeah, the devil you know.
Right. But in 2025, adaptability is your superpower. Those old self-limiting scripts, they become serious anchors holding you back. Think about it. AI can process data, crunch numbers. Your unique advantage is your conviction. that unwavering belief in yourself, your capabilities, especially when things are uncertain.
So true.
If your inner dialogue is constantly whispering, I can't, or I'm not good enough, it just creates this massive headwind against any progress you're trying to make.
Yeah, it's exhausting fighting that internal battle.
How often do you catch those old stories popping up? You know, the ones you thought you'd dealt with?
Oh, all the time if I'm not careful. It's like your brain has this favorite, worn-out armchair of negativity it loves to sink back into.
Ah, good analogy.
Which is precisely why we need to install what we're calling a conviction circuit upgrade.
Okay, I'm listening. How does that work?
It's a process, step by step. First, pinpoint one negative thought or belief that consistently trips you up. Write it down. Get it out of your head.
Okay. Name it to tame it.
Exactly. Next, put on your detective hat. Find at least 3 pieces of evidence from your past, no matter how small, that prove that thought is wrong. Maybe you think I'm terrible at presentations, but you remember that one team meeting where your point actually landed really well? Jot it down.
So gather counter evidence.
Yes.
Oh.
Then craft a new, empowering conviction. Use what Humphrey calls eloquent and strong language. Make it resonate. So if the old story is, I always mess up under pressure, the new conviction could be, I perform effectively and calmly, even when challenged. I rise to the occasion.
Powerful reframing.
And finally, this part is non-negotiable. Repeat this new conviction out loud 10 times.
Yeah.
Morning and night. And really feel the emotional energy behind it. Your brain learns through repetition and emotional intensity. You need both.
That real-time application is key. I can imagine, say, a solopreneur in 2025, maybe feeling that imposter syndrome before hitting publish on a blog post.
Oh yeah, classic scenario.
Your old story is screaming, nobody will care. But by recalling positive comments on past posts, crafting that new conviction like, my insights are valuable, and connect with people, and saying it with feeling, they can actually shift their internal state right then and there. Project more confidence.
Have you noticed that link yourself? How your internal state just radiates outwards.
Absolutely. It changes your posture, your tone, everything. Okay, let's shift gears slightly for our third deep dive. Think about your subconscious mind. It's the powerhouse, right? Driving most of your daily actions. It's kind of the silent CEO of your life.
Interesting way to put it. The silent CEO. Humphrey talks about the leader's script, that powerful core message, the one key thing you want your audience to remember and act on. Well, guess who your primary audience is, day in, day out?
Let me guess. That subconscious CEO.
Bingo. And if that CEO doesn't have a clear, concise CEO message, prime directive, it's just going to default to old programming or wander around in like general static.
That analogy really lands, especially thinking about 2025. The constant barrage of information, endless choices, distractions everywhere.
Exactly.
A clear internal CEO message. It acts like your internal compass, your decision-making filter. Without it, you're just pulled in a million directions, chasing shiny objects, losing sight of what actually matters to you.
Right. It's your internal brand identity.
Yeah, in a very crowded internal marketplace.
So how do we get this crucial message properly imprinted? We call this the core message imprint.
Okay, how do we do the imprinting?
First, define your prime directive. What is the one core impact? The one non-negotiable value you are absolutely committed to embodying in 2025. Condense it. Single powerful sentence like, I empower others through innovative solutions. Or maybe, I create content that sparks genuine connection. Find yours.
Simple, clear, potent.
Then, before you tackle any important task, big meeting, writing something crucial, whatever, take just a moment to prime your RAS.
Your reticular activating system, the brain's filter.
That's the one. Repeat your core message 5 times, slowly. Really feel its truth resonate inside you. You're telling your brain, pay attention to things related to this.
Priming the filter makes sense.
And finally, use it actively as a filter for your decisions. When a new opportunity pops up, ask yourself, does this directly align with and amplify my core message? If the answer isn't a clear, strong yes, it might need to be a polite no, or at least not right now. Protect your focus.
It makes me think of someone like maybe Gary Vaynerchuk. Love him or hate him, his core message about hustle, documentation, empathy, it's incredibly consistent.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It seems deeply imprinted.
Yeah.
It guides his content, his investments, everything. It just resonates because it feels authentic to him. What do you think makes a core message like that really stick for someone?
I think it's the constant repetition, the living it, and probably that initial clarity work. All right, final key insight for today. This one involves a bit of internal restructuring. It's time past time, probably to fire your inner critic.
Here.
And enthusiastically hire your inner coach. Humphrey points out that effective leaders think beyond hierarchies and are committed to communicating. Let's apply that wisdom internally. Because let's be honest, many of us have this internal hierarchy where the inner critic is the loudest.
Oh, the most demanding.
And definitely the least helpful boss imaginable.
It's quite a contrast, isn't it? The energy drain of that critic versus the empowering support of an inner coach, especially facing 2025's landscape.
Tell me about it.
I mean, setbacks are going to happen. Change is the only constant. If your main internal voice is just constantly nitpicking, highlighting flaws, pointing out failures, building resilience is practically impossible.
Yeah, and you're just tearing yourself down.
You desperately need that internal coach, the voice that reframes challenges as learning curves, sees setbacks as temporary detours, views fear as a signal to prepare, not to just freeze or run away.
Such a different energy.
Have you noticed in your own experience how differently you approach a tough situation depending on which voice is louder in your head?
Oh, absolutely. Night and day.
Yeah.
So how do we make this critical hire? How do we get the coach on the payroll? It's what we call the leader's internal dialogue shift. First step is just awareness. Pure and simple. Catch your inner critic in the act.
Just notice it.
Yeah. Notice when that negative voice pipes up. Don't argue with it. Don't get sucked in. Just acknowledge. Like, there's that critic program running again. Detach slightly.
Okay. Acknowledge and detach.
Then immediately, consciously, activate your inner coach, your wiser, more supportive inner voice. Ask specific, empowering questions. Questions like, okay, what's the opportunity hidden in this mess? Or what's one small, manageable step I can actually take forward right now?
Shifting to solutions.
Exactly. Or what resource, maybe an internal strength I forgot I had, or external support I could ask for, can I tap into here? And finally, reframe the situation. Use that clear, conversational, personal, eloquent, and strong language Humphrey talks about. So instead of the critic screaming, I completely messed that up, it's a disaster.
Which helps no one.
Right. And a coach steps in and says, okay, that approach didn't get the result I wanted. What valuable insights did I gain, though? How can I adjust my strategy and try again, but smarter this time?
It connects back to that idea of continuous learning. Let's take a practical case. Maybe a founder in 2025 gets disappointing early feedback on a new app feature.
Okay.
The critic goes nuts. See? Told you. You're not cut out for this. It's a flop. Standard stuff.
Yep, familiar script.
But if they consciously engage the inner coach, they could ask, okay, which bits of feedback are actually constructive? What's one small tweak we can implement quickly based on this? Who do I know who's navigated this kind of user feedback before?
It shifts everything.
Completely. From self-blame and paralysis to proactive problem solving. Huge difference.
So let's just zoom out for a second here, pull all these threads together. Remember this core message from our deep dive today. You are not inherently flawed. You're not destined to feel stuck. You might simply be operating on some, let's call it outdated internal programming that just isn't serving you anymore in this rapidly evolving world we're in.
That's a great way to frame it.
Your brain is this incredible asset, truly, and you absolutely have the power to run an upgrade.
Exactly. This whole conversation, all these techniques, they're about intentionally architecting your inner world. It's about deliberately building those strong, supportive neural pathways that will actually underpin your future goals. It's a massive shift, really. From just passively reacting to whatever life throws at you to actively shaping your internal landscape. Cultivating that leader-level mindset that's going to serve you not just now, but for the long haul, building permanent architecture.
It ultimately, here's the real game changer, the bottom line.
Yeah.
When you consciously choose to rewire your internal programming, you fundamentally shift your identity, who you believe you are.
Yeah.
And when you shift your identity, well, that's when everything else starts to change too, really change. So now for you, listening in to really lock this in and make it useful, take just a moment, reflect. Which one of these brain rewiring strategies we talked about, the future memory protocols, starving that old story, defining your core message, or consciously hiring your inner coach, which one resonates most powerfully with you right now? Where do you feel the most energy?
Yeah. Which one feels like the right starting point?
And then think. What's one tiny, almost ridiculously easy action step you feel inspired to take this week based on our deep dive? Seriously, even just thinking about it, deciding on it, starts to solidify the learning. It starts the rewiring.
And maybe consider this as a final thought. What might be the compounding effect if you consistently apply just one of these internal leadership strategies over, say, the next few months? What surprising doors might that unexpectedly unlock for you down the road? Think about those ripple effects.
That really is something to ponder. Okay, that concludes our deep dive for today. I sincerely hope this has armed you with some genuinely insightful perspectives and, more importantly, some immediately actionable strategies you can use. Remember, the most transformative leadership, the kind that really lasts, it always begins within. Thanks so much for diving deep with us.